Hello, I am Malika, a student in the Department of English Language and Literature at the University of Bahrain. Welcome to our Advanced Grammar series. In this video, I'm going to explain time clauses with when, while, and as, and by the end of the lesson, you'll hopefully have a clear idea about when to use when, while, and as in time clauses. So let's get started. Well, first we need to talk about clauses. What are clauses? A clause is a group of words that includes a subject and a verb. There are different categories of clauses. One category of clauses is adverbial or adverb clauses. An adverbial clause is a dependent clause that functions as an adverb. Today, we're going to focus on one type of adverbial clauses, which is time clauses. Time clauses usually indicate something about time and begin with words like when, while, or as. In this example, when the new park opens, I'll go there every day. When the new park opens is the time clause. The main clause is I'll go there every day. Why do we call it a main clause? Well, the reason is if I cover this up and read this sentence, I'll go there every day, we can see that there's a subject and a verb, and I don't need any more information for this sentence to make sense. Therefore, the main clause is independent. It does not need any more information. Now, if I cover up the main clause and read the time clause, when the new park opens, it is clear that I need more information. I'm asking myself, what will happen when the new park opens? So, the time clause is dependent on the main clause to make sense. So, when the new park opens, I'll go there every day. That is a complete thought. Now, let's have a look at the uses of when, while, and as in time clauses. We can use when at the beginning of an adverbial clause describing a period of time. Let's have a look at this example. When I was in school, we didn't have computers. Here when describes a period of time, the time I was in school. We can also use when at the beginning of an adverbial clause describing a point in time. In the following example, when I see Sam, I'll give him your message. When describes a particular point in time during which I'll give Sam the message, and that is when I see him. Note that we don't use will in the when clause. It is ungrammatical to say, when I will see Sam, I'll give him the message. We also use clauses beginning with when to describe something that happens soon after something else in another clause. For example, Gary had just arrived when the waitress set a plate of toast on the table. In this example, the waitress put the plate on the table a short time after what had happened in the main clause, which is Gary's arrival. We can also use clauses beginning with when to describe something that interrupts something else in another clause. Let's have a look at this example. He was walking back to his flat when he heard an explosion. Here, the when clause, when he heard an explosion, interrupted what was happening in the main clause, which is that person's walk to his flat. When is also used like if in factual conditions to talk about every time something happens. In the following example, when he watches television, he falls asleep. We understand that this person falls asleep every time he watches television. Thus, when indicates that every time the action in the when clause takes place, that is, watching television, the same result comes out in the main clause, which is falling asleep. We can use a clause with while or when to describe a period of time with another clause to describe what happens at some point in that period of time. Let's have a look at the following example. I had sprained my ankle when or while I was playing tennis. In this example, the when or while clause described a period of time, which is the time I was playing tennis. The main clause described spraining my ankle, which happened at some point during the time I was playing tennis. We often use while to connect clauses in which two things happen at the same time, for the whole period of time. Here is an example sentence. They were talking while the teacher was explaining the activity. In this sentence, we have one action going on in the main clause, which is talking, and another going on in the while clause, which is explaining the activity. While connects the two actions, indicating that both talking and explaining the activity were happening at the same time and going on for the whole period of time. We can use as like when and while for a period of time during which something happens. Let's have a look at this example. As or when or while we were leaving, another coachload of people arrived. Here we have a period of time in the time clause, which is the process of leaving. During this time, something else happened, which was the arrival of a coachload of people. We can use as or just as, not while, to focus on the precise moment that something happens. We don't choose while in this case because it does not focus on a specific moment. Here is an example sentence. Just as, or as I was leaving, the phone rang. In this sentence, we used as or just as to focus on the specific moment during which I was leaving. As or just as indicated that at that precise moment of leaving, something happened, which was the phone's ringing. We can also use as to show a connection between one type of change over time and another. In the following example, as the show increases in popularity, more and more tickets are sold daily. We have one type of change in the time clause, which is the increase in the show's popularity over time. We also have another type of change over time, which is the growing number of sold tickets. As creates connection between these two types of change. The growing number of sold tickets is linked to the show's increasing popularity. Note that we don't choose while in this case. We don't say, while the show increases in popularity, more and more tickets are sold daily. And now we have reached the end of the lesson. Thank you for watching and goodbye.